just look at this. My track got released on Armada on one of their compilations, and it's now spot number 5 in the top 10 of Beatport. Am I happy about it? To be honest, not really that much. I mean, it's nice, but probably they only sold 10, 15, maybe 20, maybe 50 copies of this, because Beatport is actually very pretty much dead. Beatport was really cool like 10 years ago for all of the DJs to get their tracks, and I personally still use Beatport to buy my tracks on there. But as a music producer, it's not really that interesting. You don't make, or almost don't make, any revenue with Beatport, and the charts are 99% fake and don't really matter that much. So nice to have. I'm happy to have a release on Armada more than being part of this top 10 thing on Beatport. I think Spotify is way more important. Getting a good playlist, getting a good spot on Spotify is definitely worth more in 2017 than anything on Beatport. And as you might know, Beatport was sold to SFX Entertainment, I think it's called. Yes, it's called SFX Entertainment. They also own most of the festivals. I think Tomorrowland, Tomorrow World, I think also May Day, and some other bigger German festivals, and a lot of other festivals around the world. I don't really know how they can be so broke, because that's their main problem right now. The shares dropped a whole lot. There are in big financial troubles. I think they tried to sell also Beatport in some of their events. I'm not 100% sure what's happening right now, but it's definitely going down, and I honestly don't really know how, because Tomorrowland is such a big festival. I think it's almost impossible to not make money with it, but they somehow mismanaged, probably bought too many other companies, and maybe had one or two bad events, and they're pretty much already done. Yeah, I just read an article. They went bust in February, and now they're back with a new COO, with a new name, a new portfolio, new style, and all this kind of things, but they're still making those big festivals like Electric Zoo, Mysteryland, and a whole lot more. I'm really interested to see how this will affect Beatport, but let me now just get a cup of coffee. It's still early and I'm still tired. I almost put sugar in my coffee, but today is the beginning of day 2 without any sugar, staying strong. And I should probably change this from Birthday Girl to this thing. Is just so cool. It even lights up, and I just love the look of it. But now it's, yeah, definitely time to just head to the studio. The weather looks so magical, but I absolutely don't get why it's so cold. Like 2 weeks ago I was running around with a t-shirt, 24 degrees, and now it's back down to 8 and it's just freezing. I actually read one more article on my way here to the studio about Beatport. It's kind of really interesting how they screwed up, and also how the entire scene kind of changed. It's now more streaming than buying tracks, definitely. Apple already made the switch. Spotify was one of the first to actually introduce streaming, and it's definitely the market of the future, without a doubt. I'd actually already say it is the market. A friend of mine is working at Universal, and he told me like of some of their labels, like 80 to 90% of their revenue is just made with Spotify, not streaming, just Spotify. So that's a huge market, very important, especially the playlist management for labels and these kind of things, and also extremely interesting for artists to promote your music and get other people to know your music just by being in the right playlists. Beatport also tried to get into the streaming market. They had a streaming service for half a year or a year. They failed, no one was using it, because the DJs, they still need to download their music just to be able to play it in the club. And for everyone else, Spotify, I think, is way more interesting, and more underground and club tracks are also being released on Spotify. SoundCloud also tried to enter the streaming market with the SoundCloud Go app. They are still trying, but I'm not pretty sure if this will work out. There's too much competition, and it's hard for most SoundCloud users that are just used to being able to listen to the tracks for free now to pay for them or to listen to advertisements. And I think it's also a little bit unfair to take money from the artist for uploading the tracks and also take money from the users listening to the tracks. That's just simply not fair. And also now they fixed the reposting a little, which I was talking about a couple of months ago in my SoundCloud Go video. They fixed it. You can't endlessly repost the same track every day, every hour just to get a lot of plays. But this way they also made it harder for the music promotional channels, and I think most of them will move on to Spotify and start creating playlists. So I think that's definitely where the market is heading to. I now have to take care actually working again on the Final Warnings track. I still need to make a couple of effect sounds for this track. I actually already showed you how to make these effects in another video. If you're interested in that, I will link it down below. But now, just back to work.
Hey,
it's cold, huh?
Scheiße, kalt.
It's so cold. Pizza? Chinese?
Pizza.
Okay. I know exactly what you're thinking. Pizza, I know it's not the healthiest, but at least no sugar, and it's the only thing I had to eat so far today, so I think that's okay. Now back to work, which is extremely hard to do because I just found out that Blizzard released StarCraft 1 as a free version just for Mac, and it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I really have to resist to now download it and just play for the entire day. Maybe I will find a little bit of time tonight back at home.
Wherever I am, whoever you are.
I'm all done with work for today, and no, I didn't play any StarCraft up until now. I mostly took care of working on another track and also of a couple of business things. And you know, thinking again about Beatport, I think the next step that will really end this Beatport thing is the second where DJs will start playing music that they stream on their phone, or maybe if Spotify allows you to download the tracks and then use them with CDJs. I think you can download them, store them on your phone, but I think it's still not really possible to play them. But when the day comes where this is possible or allowed, I think Beatport will have a really tough time. DJs will be able to play whichever track they want, that's just there. They have to search for it, have a good internet connection, and that's it. So let me know what you think about Beatport, about music promotion, and the best platform for music in 2017. I think it's pretty obvious that everything will shift towards streaming. It's basically already there. It's just like one more little step until all of those old media is probably gone, except for records. They will always stay. They're like, you collect them, you like them, you put them in your shelf, and I would never ever sell any of my records. I just like them way too much.
Wherever I am, whoever you are.
Back at home, checking emails as always, 24/7, just emails and emails. It's really annoying. Emails is probably the worst thing that was ever invented. But I also got now an email from Bunny Tiger, the label of Sharon J, and it seems like another older track of mine was released today on Beatport. I just saw it's actually not released, it's like available for pre-order. It's his album with tracks where he worked with other people together, and my old, what is it called? My old Connections track is part of it. So yeah, great news. Another release on Bunny Tiger, a really good Beatport label, and my All About track got re-released on Armada Music, which is also great. Now, yeah, probably just dinner, but this is still true, so something without sugar, which is probably boring, but shouldn't be a problem for dinner.
You kindled a light on my soul.
Putting the letters in there actually took so long that my coffee is now cold.